Hey everybody, welcome to another Age of Grogu, and I've got with me Elijah and Max. Guys, how's it going?
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Forgive me if I go a little glitchy. I've had problems with my internet this morning, so yeah, hopefully I won't glitch out. We'll see.
Why? You live in the Matrix or something? You're gonna be like
I live in
glitching in
the.
and out like
I feel like I live in the
reality?
Matrix. Good God, did you see that they're actually talking about the Matrix 5?
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard they're making a new one with I can't remember which Wachowski is writing it, but
Yeah,
one of
yeah,
them's going to write it, and a new director is coming in.
yeah. I don't know what to think about that because it's like,
I thought it was a
I,
reboot
I
and not
prefer
like
the
a
least.
reboot of the first story, not like a number 5.
it could be. I don't know. I don't
I'm
know.
just happy at least one Wachowski is staying on. I mean,
Yeah,
that makes me feel a little better about it rather than just being another studio led. Because that's
sure.
the other option, and
Uh-huh.
they know that. That's why they made the last one. It was a big
Right.
commentary on the idea of these studios own these big IPs,
Hmm.
and they could turn it into what the fans think it is, or they
Yeah.
can keep it with the original vision of what the writers want. And either way,
Right.
it's like someone's getting screwed.
Sure. No, it makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense. Either way, I wasn't a huge fan of the fifth one. It was just a random. It literally, when you said Matrix, it's like, oh, I forgot that information was
That
out there this week, popped into my head, kind of thing.
okay.
Yeah. So wait a second. Where did I have that image? Oh, I had the image and I lost it. Oh, okay. Well, Elijah, what have you been up to? What have you been up to?
It's been a slow week. It
Slow
went by
week?
pretty quick.
Okay.
Did WonderCon last Sunday, right?
We did. Yeah.
Or whatever, last Saturday or whatever.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
Week went by quick, and I've got no work, and things have been slow, so I've just been sitting
Right.
home and
Okay. No.
trying
No
to finish
new.
what I'm working on, but I'm waiting for one product so I can finish what I'm doing. And
Fair enough.
anyways,
Fair enough.
so I've been home for a week.
No new shows. You haven't watched anything new or anything?
Nothing.
interesting?
Did I watch anything new? No. I haven't even started. I should have been watching stuff. I've been at home this whole week. But
Fair enough.
as
Max,
normal.
Yeah, Max, you had an interesting week last weekend. You went comic hunting at WonderCon for 3 days, right?
I wouldn't call it hunting. I would say scavenging.
Tell
or,
everybody how many comics
pillaging.
you
It's
picked
more
up.
like
Tell
stalking because you were there on
Max,
the first
Max.
day and you looked around and you stalked around and you're like, I'm gonna come
Uh-huh.
back for her and her and her, and then you're like, oh, I'm gonna trade for that one over there. You were like, it's more like stalking. That's what I would call it.
Yeah, I think stalking might be right. So I will say on the day we went, there was a guy selling short boxes for like I think he said it was $200 a box, and I don't think
Right.
we even looked at them.
Oh, like a
Uh-huh.
blind
was just
box,
like-
like a grab bag?
No, you fill it yourself. You
Oh.
Right.
pack it and fill it yourself. By Sunday, he hadn't sold many, so he
Right.
dropped it down to $30 a box.
Whoa.
Okay.
Yeah, so it started with me filling 2 boxes for $30 a box.
Right.
I got amazing quality stuff.
So you basically got a
Uh-huh.
long box for $60. 2 short boxes and a long box.
Yeah, I had 2 short boxes that are just jam packed. Each have about 100 each, but just great X-Men stuff.
That's
Yeah.
cool. Just like that they're just kind of like easy, reference books. More than like value books.
Yeah,
Right.
I have near a full run of X Factor. I pulled
Nice.
this one out because of Madeline Pryor and Fast
course.
and Furious X-Men TV shows.
Uh-huh.
I got near full run of Age of Apocalypse, near
Right.
full run of Excalibur. I'm just
Okay.
missing 2 books in the first 50, and then a few after that.
Right.
I got I can't even think about. I got a near complete set of John Byrne's Man of Steel mini series, which is going to be one of the things James Gunn's basing his new movies off of.
Okay.
Plus the first 22 issues of John Byrne comics after that.
That was
Right.
all in this guy's stack. Like they were like random
Yeah.
books, or did he have it like in order? Like
It was sometimes you hit a vein where some things would be in order.
Oh, okay.
But it was a lot of digging to get
Right.
some of these X Factor books.
Mm-hmm.
And it was also Sunday late in the con, so a lot of stuff was picked clean.
Yeah.
But I got a bunch of Thor books, a bunch of Avenger stuff, a
Right.
bunch of Batman stuff. I got a bunch of copies of what is it, 357 when Bane breaks Batman's back. I got a bunch of copies of that because that's a fun book to have.
Wait a minute.
Right.
So did you get more than 2 small boxes?
Oh yeah, then he started. Then he dropped the price to 15.
Oh my
Well,
god!
first he started just
And
telling
then
me
you
to take
bought more.
comics. Well, first he started telling me to take more comics for free
Uh-huh.
because this guy was a really
Like, just
good
get
dude
rid
who
of them.
didn't-
Is Max
Yeah,
going
he
to
was just trying
refuse
to
free
get-
comics?
Yeah.
He was just telling me like you already bought 2 boxes. Just I know they're jam packed. Start taking handfuls, dude. And then he said, if you want another full box, I'll give you one for 15. And I was like,
Wow.
yeah, you already gave me a bunch of free books.
Wow.
That's crazy.
So I got three.
So how'd you leave? You
jam-packed
needed someone to
boxes.
help. You needed like a wheelbarrow.
Yeah, it's
you needed,
like,
a
how'd you
little.
get
He
it
had
out
one.
there?
He had one. He had a little red wagon.
Oh,
Like
God.
like a radio flyer.
We know what to get you for Christmas, right? A little red wagon.
No, he just needs one of those rolling.
That's it, carts,
rolling
yeah.
shopping cart.
Totally,
whatever.
absolutely, yeah. How many comics do you think you got in overall, though, roughly?
That's
Oh,
like
it's
in
300 plus. I saw
300
300.
plus. Oh my
Yeah.
god!
Because you can
But
get
then
what?
I also
60
found like
in a-
these
Oh, yeah.
great quality 90s poly bags.
Oh, yeah?
This one's
Good book.
sketched on. I don't think it's Rob Liefeld, so I don't
Uh-huh.
think it's valuable.
Right.
If the audience thinks I should crack one,
Let me see that. Yeah, it doesn't look like a Liefeld like drawing, and there's no
No.
signature. But that's kind
No,
of weird. It's on the
just-
back, and like,
That is strange, though.
That's interesting because it could be someone like that's like you used to take things and have artists draw on your book. Now they have those blank
Yeah.
covers where you can draw on your own book and make your own cover or whatever.
Hmm.
But that's for that book being so old. That's kind of interesting to see Deadpool on that book.
yeah, I wonder who it is.
But there's no way that anybody would have had that open before. That was already
Unless there's a
pre-sealed
signature.
anyway,
I mean,
right?
only
This is
if
still
there was a
sealed.
signature
Huh?
next
That's
to
still
it.
sealed. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't open it. I mean, it's entirely up to you, of course. But
Yeah, maybe
You
I'll
have
open
over
up
copies of that book,
three.
though, right?
uh-huh.
You have over
Oh
copies
man,
of
I
that
probably
book
have
as well?
10 copies of.
Oh,
X
so you've already-
number
Yeah,
one
yeah, yeah.
All right.
in various
Yeah,
conditions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm always
like I
interested
have
to see
all of
what
those.
part
I have
it
all
is.
of those and all the other like all
Oh.
the poly wraps, like all the different colors and stuff.
You can actually see what card it is. Never
Oh, yeah?
mind. It's
Okay.
cable.
Yeah, you can just shake it. You shake it, and oh yeah, there you go.
There
You
you
can
go.
kind of see it if you
Wait,
just
wait. Put that up again. I'll just...
if you just look really, really close.
Oh, yeah, I see.
CAB and you see Cable's big arms.
You
Huh,
used to be able to
that's
like
funny.
wiggle. You know, you move the bag so you shake the card in another section so you can see it better. You know.
That's funny.
That's cool. So, what else did you get? You got something really kind of special for you.
Oh
Something
yeah, I
you've
got
been searching
one big
for.
book
Uh huh.
that I traded a lot of other books for.
Right.
I got it now because X-Men are becoming so. I've always loved the X-Men have been my number one,
Mm-hmm.
but they're so popular right now. Everything's going up in value.
Yeah, yeah.
And
This
that's
is giant size.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Lift it up a little
This is-
higher. A little higher. Yep.
Giant
That's
size
it.
X-Men number one.
It's a bigger
Um,
pay for Brent. It's a bigger.
Sure.
It's like the bigger style
Yes. Yeah.
comic book.
Now, in this
No.
particular case, the cover is missing,
Bigger
correct?
page.
So,
Yes, the cover is missing. It is graded 0.5 with white pages.
right.
The
So
lighting
it's
doesn't
kind
really
of
do it justice.
low. It's kind of low, but to get the idea of how much this would cost in mint condition, what kind of money would that be in mint condition?
Oh, mint condition.
10K
You're
plus.
talking completely
Huh?
different thing.
Yeah, mint condition's like 10K plus.
Wow,
I'd say
so-
for a normal copy, like if you want like a depending on how the market is and depending on how things
Right.
are in flux with the current X-Men
Yeah.
TV show and upcoming movies,
Right.
you're looking at around raw $500 to $600, maybe more,
Huh.
depending on condition.
Yeah.
Even coverless 500
Yeah.
from a lot of people.
Yeah.
And then for mid quality, it's you gotta pay at least 2K, 2
Right.
to 3.
Right. But you
and
said you've
then-
been looking for that kind of, you've been wanting that all your life kind of thing, you said, right?
It's kind of I literally said on the way to the con, it's the one book I was like, yeah, man, if I could just keep buying these cheap slabs for a good price
Mhm.
and trade up for a giant size, I'd be happy.
That's
And then
fine.
I saw it for 500 at the con, and I was like, oh, I could probably scoundrel up like a bunch of different valuable books. I traded in like a signed first appearance of Kanan Jarrus and the Rebels crew. I know that one hurts, Brett. You know what's funny about that one is I had to convince this guy it was valuable.
Oh God.
He was like, "How much is this? Like $70?" And I was like, "Dear God, no!" I just showed how much it was selling for on eBay. I was having to explain to him what the characters were, how the show was going. I had to bring his son over and be like, "Hey, you've heard of the Rebels crew, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, I know Sabine." And I'd be like, "This is her first appearance."
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's
Nice.
up there too. So, and something else. You bumped into somebody, Max, on the floor last week.
Oh yeah, I also bumped into Todd McFarlane. He was walking around the con, he was just blessing people. It was so funny. He had a handful of pens, and it was blessing random people's books, not people who were selling books, just fans. And it was funny to watch. Like a dealer walked up to him with a stack of books, so excited, thinking he was about to make just like a bunch of money that day. Todd said, "Nope, sorry, fans only."
Nice. That's cool. That's cool.
Nice.
And of course, for anyone who doesn't know, Todd McFarlane does all the does Spawn and several comics and
Spider-Man,
all the toy lines, everything like that. Yeah, so many cool. Yeah,
authorized Spider-Man in the beginning.
Yeah, that's cool. So you got to talk to him. Anything interesting came from that conversation at all?
I gave him my comic book. We talked about just comics in general.
That's cool.
What book? Oh, he asked me if I ever read Warlord by Mike Grell, and I was like, definitely, I've read Warlord. We talked about that for a bit.
That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's cool. He's got your comic book, man. That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, he can at least read it and that's cool.
Yeah. I also met Jeff Johns this week. He released his Ghost Machine stuff.
Oh yeah.
He gave me a little print for it.
Oh, cool. Nice.
It's his new Image imprint. He drew a little Geiger on it. It's gonna be the home of books.
Oh, very cool.
Geiger, Redcoat, Rook. Yeah.
That's cool. Awesome. Well, I mean, I haven't done a lot this week. I've just been, bits and pieces and stuff like that. Nothing crazy. I started watching. What was it? Actually, what was that one show? The one that Jason recommended last week. The sci-fi
I know.
Netflix. I watched. Yeah, I completely forgot the name of it.
I'm going that guy, but I was looking at him like, should I start this?
Yeah.
Like,
I played the first episode. It was slow. I was trying to figure out where it's going. So, but anyway. But apart from that, not a lot else. Just they did drop a lot of Star Wars news this week, though, guys. We had so much crazy stuff that went through this week. I'll go through the things that were non-Star Wars, because there's like a little bit of a couple things worth mentioning, but nothing major. But then there was a ton of Star Wars. Speaking of comics, of course, Action Comics set records selling Action Comics #1 Superman for $6 million. That's crazy.
Yeah, I might have overpaid a little bit on that one.
Yeah, just a bit.
$6 million.
Yeah, but
I mean, damn, that's like a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing, I get
you could buy like 3 houses.
You could buy a lot more than 3 houses.
I mean, depending on what kind of house you want, but yeah, in California, I'm talking. But yeah, like still. $6 million. I mean, when you get it, it's going to be nothing bigger than like what Max is holding in his hand.
If you were a multi-millionaire, or a billionaire, wouldn't you buy it as well?
Well, here I can put it into context.
I can put it. This is or it's just like they give him. Here's the book in a little.
This is the highest graded copy of Action Comics,
right?
On record. Okay. It's not just like a normal Superman Action Comics #1, low grade with the cover ripped. This is the highest. This is the highest on any census graded.
Okay.
Someone built a time machine, went back to 1332, and like gave the guy 10 cents. Like,
there'd be 101 comics of that comic around.
I'll take that.
Have you guys heard about the Mile High collection? Have you guys ever heard about that?
Yeah, I've been there. I've been there.
I haven't.
Do they have I've never been to actually the store. Do they have the collection out there? Like there's this collection they got from this guy who was alive in the from the 20s to I think I can't remember when he died, but he collected books his entire life.
Yeah.
And kept them pristine condition, and there was over 15,000 copies comics they got from Golden Age Books, and it's they're not for sale, but they're the highest graded version of those. Reportedly, the Superman the Action Comics #1 they have is white pages. Like you open it and it looks like it's new.
I think all those are on display. They're they're cased and in the glass behind the wall. Like they're all up there, like a walkthrough part where they're like all the crazy legacy books. But that place is gigantic. It's like the size of a Costco. Half of it is like open comic books that you dig through. The other half is just mail order of like 3 times amount what you see on the floor is in these back boxes, and they just have to go through and pull out books to like send people online. So like pretty much anything that you want, they would probably have.
We're definitely getting to Star Wars soon, guys. Sorry, we got sidetracked with comic books and stuff like that for a little bit. Still a little sidetracked. Joker.
Only 16 minutes in. Come on.
Whatever.
We got plenty of time.
Exactly. But we've got a lot of Star Wars news that came up this week. Joker 2 is dropping a trailer in 2 days' time, which will be interesting to see. I'm curious to see what that's like.
We'll see.
I don't know if we'll get to do a reaction. I'm working on that day, so I don't know if I'll get a chance to react to that or not. Last Airbender, seasons 2 and 3. The showrunners from season 1 have actually left. Are moving on apparently, and they're getting different showrunners in. So I'm
That's crazy. When you're a showrunner, you start a show and then you want to move on like after the first season. It's like you're just getting started.
No, totally.
That's how it goes nowadays. People leverage jobs like this. They'll churn out a season of something super high profile and leverage it into another project.
Yeah. And usually they also want to try their own personal projects, and the only way they can actually do that is if they're successful on a major franchise, and that allows them the opportunity to do their own. But it does.
That's why people are doing IP movies nowadays. There's very little people who are making IP movies and shows because they truly love the IP. They want to use that IP to leverage their career.
Yes.
They're saying, you might not know who I am, but you know who Aang is. You know who the Avengers characters are. They're they're using it as a leverage point for their own name.
Yeah. You dropped this to me this week, Max, as well.
Yes, that is the first official art of Johnny Storm.
Okay, all right, interesting. They're keeping it all in the same style of their original.
Well, open that picture up again. This is what some people have been speculating. Look at the city. You see how it doesn't look like our Earth?
Right, sure.
People are speculating that they're not going to be in our multiverse. They're going to be from another world.
So that would be more of a retro planet Earth of sorts.
Yes.
Okay, that's an interesting thought. Yeah, that could
I don't know. It seems like they could start in the '60s, and whenever they have their gamma explosion radiation thing, at that point they could be sent to a different dimension. They could be sent to a different time period or whatever, and like it could have just happened, like the Challenger exploding or whatever, and people forget about it or they don't talk about it as much, so they can come back to it, and then all of a sudden, they reappear somehow. That's what it seems.
I like that. That'd be cool.
So, like, it seems like that's the way they'd have to go, because they need to explain them not like never mentioning them.
Sure.
So that's what I at least hope that's what I would think that would happen in some way, that like the instant of their explosion or their accident or whatever, they basically just disappear to everyone on Earth or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if I were to change their origin story, I would try to take the blame off of Reed as well, and I would include Howard the Duck pulling a lever, which makes everything go wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just think that'd be funny to take the blame off of Reed and put the blame on Howard the Duck. But I'll never get that wish.
Fair enough.
Never know. Howard the Duck is a character now.
Yeah. But yeah, it was most of the information that came out this week on other stuff. But let's jump into some Star Wars. I'm a big Hot Toys fan, of course. They've just released the newest Hot Toys figure of Anakin Skywalker from freaking the Ahsoka series. Look how freaking realistic this figure is. It looks so good.
Yeah, that... the sculpt looks really good. I think
Yeah.
the paint. I don't know. Let me see that again.
What's that? Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. The eyes are. Really,
the eyes are amazing.
The hair is good too for sculpted hair.
For sculpted hair, correct? Yes, yeah.
That's like the hair is always like a thing. Like it's either sculpted or if it's real hair, then it can look bad.
Yeah, my favorite
real
thing
hair
is
looks weird next to plastic because it's. Yeah. I don't know. The proportions of the strands never look right.
Right. I mean for high end toys though, they're still pretty damn good. I mean, I'm definitely want to get my hands on this one. This is going to be.
They include a mini Ahsoka.
Oh yeah, no, they've actually designed that too, and they've actually released it. They're releasing it, I should say, about a year from now. So I've got some time. I got some time to save up. But yeah, they got the new racks as well from the thing. From the Ahsoka series.
So they got to be really 3D scanning people's faces now. I mean, that's what they got to be doing, right? Isn't it like?
Well, no, because I think George Lucas might have scanned Hayden Christensen's face back in the day. They might have used some of that technology, but Disney are doing it now with all this stuff for the toy lines and stuff like that. But even then, it's still an amazing, piece of work and sculptural kind of work. So.
Yeah, just how they connect together and they fit together, especially those bigger, when they're like pieces. Just the way they work that out and make it look flawless is pretty amazing.
Yeah. No, but there's that's coming out. I just thought it was kind of cool. Star Tours this week dropped a trailer, kind of semi-trailer, because I saw some behind-the-scenes footage of the new ride for the Ahsoka ride. I think I showed you guys. It looked really cool. I mean, it takes you off and you see Space Purgle and the video I saw cut off right as it went to Cassian Andor. So I don't know what the mission is going to be that you'll see on the Star Tours ship for Andor. I'm going to assume it's got something to do with the space meteorite, thing that they did, because they had this whole piece in Andor that. When they were flying when they were leaving the planet, and there was the meteorites coming through, which I think would be a visually cool piece, but I have no idea what that's going to be about. But I think that's opened up already. I think that opened up this week at Disneyland.
So that's currently going at Disneyland now?
I believe so, yeah.
Man, we need to find a day to go to Disneyland, I think.
Yeah, I know, yeah. We definitely do. It's been a while. It's been like 2019, I think, was the last time you and I went, Elijah, right?
Yeah, we should go during a weekday, like a Tuesday or something like that, and just go.
Yeah.
I got my tax return back, and I would spend $100 or $120 to go to Disneyland.
I owed money back, so I'm not going anywhere
right now.
Max spent his money on comics.
All right, well, now I have money, and you guys have no money. I was willing to spend my $100, but now I'll just go buy records. Damn it.
We'll figure it. No. Hold off. We could negotiate something. I'm sure.
How come we don't know someone who works at Disney? Why can't we get free Disney tickets?
I know. Yeah.
That's annoying because I used to live in Fullerton. I would go all the time, and we knew people who worked there, and we would just go for a drink and then leave, and it was super easy and nice.
Yep.
And now it's never going to be like that again.
Either way, Star Tours released that. They also dropped. They also dropped this week. Oh, sorry. They also dropped this week.
Sorry.
You were talking? They also dropped this week. They've got their robots on display. They're these are physical animatronic pieces, walking, moving, interactive robots, which I would actually like to see that. I generally am excited to see that sort of thing because I want to see how that technology works. I want to see it, kind of, in person.
I saw the video. It looks like it's just clopping along.
They're clopping along, but there's also some sort of interaction that I don't know if it's remote control or if it's a sensory.
It's got to be remote control. They're just dudes with.
Not necessarily.
They're really good about hiding who's using it.
Yeah, but there's also some sensory stuff there. There was some. I don't know. I mean, I want.
Just look for a guy with his hand in his pocket or his jacket.
I don't think.
There's always a guy with.
No, just whatever. You're in this whatever. They could be like away. They could be like looking through little viewfinders and like.
Yeah, but I mean, when we were at Celebration, when we were at last week at WonderCon, we saw the guys from McMaster Robots and all the droid builders, and they, they had to be in close vicinity, and they've got to be constantly, obviously, watching all the time about the surrounding areas.
Right, but when you're there and you're watching an R2 or a Wally, you're not even looking at the guy who's like standing right next to you, because it's like watching a Muppet or whatever. You're like, I believe that it's real.
No, it's not just that though, because if you talk about those robots that deliver mail and stuff like that, there has to be sensors to stop them, and like even like cars that drive without drivers.
Right.
You've got sensors all around them. I'm wondering whether any of these do act on sensors, that they don't accidentally dial forward and step on a child's toe, because those things would be pretty damn heavy. There's got to be something to stop them in their tracks. But I'd be curious to see how that technology works. But I think they're kind of cute. I mean, they definitely got the the direction towards the BD droids.
It could just be like a directional thing too. Like whoever's walking with them, they're going to have like some security people walking with.
You're right, because people can't.
So then they just put in put a little clip on those people, and it just stays in a sensor close to those people that are monitoring them.
Could be
what happened.
Yeah, it could be. Either way, it's the technology's out there. They're not cheap robots. They're pretty expensive pieces of work. They're up there, I'm sure, in the $10,000 range.
Is there only 3 of them, or there's a bunch in different colors?
I believe there's only 3 of them that I'm aware of. I'm sure they have a backup set in case anything goes wrong with one of them.
Well, backup of those 3 colors. Yeah. I'm just saying, is there like a purple and a white one or a gray one?
I'm pretty sure they also put these guys up on. Yeah, I think it's only those 3 colors. I think they originally they displayed them first, I think, in Disney World over in Florida. I think it's the first time we've had them here in Disneyland.
Okay, because I think I've seen those before. I've seen them before, so
yeah, they displayed them last year when they brought them out for the first time. But I think it was Disney World, and I think we might be seeing them the first time here, which is kind of cool. And that's why it's like, yeah, it's kind of a cool month to go to Disneyland, because they've got so many things going on there for Star Wars this year. It's crazy. Max, you and I watched the Bad Batch last week, the 2-part episode. We had some interesting stuff going on. We have some. We lost one of the ships this week, one of the key vehicles. They did this to it, similar to what we saw in Mandalorian.
Yeah, I realized the new thing in Star Wars. Anytime someone hits rock bottom, the ship has to be blown up.
Fair enough. I
your transportation away too. Now you're stuck here.
Yeah.
Well, that too, yeah. That's a big part of it. They make it feel like you're in a helpless situation, which again is it's creative. But it is the second time we've seen a ship just totally get destroyed like that, and it was kind of like, yeah. The thing is though, Elijah, I know you don't watch the show, but the ship is like a home. It literally is the characters that we've been watching for the last 3 years.
All those ships are their home. They live in there. It's like their RVs.
Han kind of lives there, but it doesn't.
This is more like a tour bus. This was more like a tour bus than an RV.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if anything ever happened to the Ghost, which is like Hera Syndulla's ship, which is literally their home as well, that would be devastating to me. But this was kind of like, yeah, it was a moment in the show. As for the show itself, I've been enjoying this season a lot. I think there's a lot of dark places that they've actually managed to take it, more than I realized that Disney would. I thought Disney would hold back on some of that stuff. But Max, they shot a kid last week with a stun blast.
Yeah. Point blank, they were just like, you had no choice to kill the kid.
Yeah. Granted, the kid was a Force-sensitive kid, but it's like they still shot the kid with a stun blast. Like, whoa, okay.
I will say the same universe, like a bunch of kids got cut in half by the protagonist.
And but that was also under Lucas. That wasn't under Disney. This is a whole different. I'm glad that Disney are actually allowing some of this stuff, the dark stuff that we expect and want to see from the Empire, is actually being allowed to be seen in why the Empire is so bad and so evil. And even though it's animation, it's still showing some really cool stories on the darkness of what that Empire is all about. And I'm glad that they're braving it and not shying away from letting that happen and showing us some of these moments. Because we've only got like 4 episodes left of the series. and I have no idea exactly where it's going because they may end on a dark passage of root of everything, but then it also it's Star Wars. You're supposed to have this enlightenment before at the end of the story. That even though you get your Empire Strikes Back moments at the end of Empire Strikes Back, there's still that chance of hope. So I feel like we're going to get a little bit of that from this series. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to see Omega get her happy ending.
Sure.
But I feel like her story is so far from done. It feels so weird to introduce a character like that who has so much potential. Is she the only female clone of Boba Fett? Is she the only sister of Boba Fett?
Yeah.
She's force sensitive.
But yeah. Well, I don't know if she's force sensitive. Her gene she's
okay. Let's just say she has an M count. Let's just say
she's got an M count that can be transferred from a clone. I think that's what the importance is. Because if they've got Jedi children, that's not going to mean one thing or the other. Their genetic makeup won't allow that to be transferred from a live being into a clone into a clone. And the force sensitiveness, even if it's tiny, and it is supposed to be tiny as far as we know, depending on what Ventress said, it is really going to be all about how
Ventress lied.
Well, no, I don't think she
obviously lied.
I don't think so.
She obviously lied.
Yeah,
you would totally be that guy that believes Ventress.
Yeah, I want to see the Zilla Beast return for sure. They already did the Zilla Beast story with the tiny one, but I don't know how that or if that still plays into anything at all. That was kind of a cool. I love the Zilla Beast. I think it's a great little arc. But sorry, I keep flipping through chat there. It's like, oh, okay. But yeah, I would like to see. I would like to get a little bit more explanation as to it all, but it feels like now specifically they just need her DNA so the transfer can be made. The other thing that everyone keeps talking about Grogu, and it's like, why isn't Grogu there? Why isn't he being captured? This and that. I personally feel like whatever the story is that they're going to be telling, they need to tell that.
We don't know when Grogu got captured. This is still a few years before Mandalorian.
Correct, but at the same time, Grogu's story is still being told. So for them to kind of sidestep that story into an animation form right now, I don't think we'll see that personally. I feel like
I heard we know where we found him. Mace Windu found him after he survived the attack in episode 3.
It wasn't Mace Windu. It was
Mace Windu found him and politely delivered him.
No, it wasn't because we already saw Kelleran Beck. Oh, what's his name? The actor. Jar Jar Binks. Yes, yeah, in the temple, and he takes him off to.
I know, then Mace Windu took him.
No, we think he took him to Naboo. Actually, is what sounded like he was possibly going towards. We'll see.
We'll find back out. To Naboo.
Well, I would love to see him go to
Naboo
and Jar Jar debate eating him.
No, I think the hint was that it might be Naboo that he was taking them to because it was related to possibly Jar Jar. Oh, look at that! Oh, poor Elijah.
Misa, so excited.
Oh, wait. That's speaking of that. This is what I actually got this morning. They actually released the 25th anniversary of the Bongo
speeder.
Just throw it away.
No, look, it's cool. It's the Bongo.
Ship.
I got that. It's Micro Galaxy Squadron. It's a cool ship. There's always a bigger fish. Anyway, see, I'm sorry, Elijah. Anyway,
I think we should take a podcast trip to Theed. Show Elijah why Naboo is one of the greatest planets in Star Wars.
Exactly.
History.
Yes.
Rich cultural history.
I got a feeling we're going to see
and a beautiful native people.
I get a feeling that Mandalorian Season 4 may take us to Naboo. And that would be kind of cool, especially if we see those flashbacks. That's just my guess. That's my
above
guess.
Water or below water?
Both. Probably both.
So I heard this thing this week that made me contemplate Naboo as a whole.
Yes, so
is Amidala racist?
What?
All
right,
hear me out.
No,
Hear me out.
All right,
hear me out.
Fine.
Who is the native people of Naboo?
It is probably the Gungans, we're guessing.
Well, they live
now,
under.
Who rules Naboo?
Yeah, the ones on the surface. But they said they've had Okay.
You don't think there's some sort of colonialism and racism going on there?
Possibly, but they also said they lived for generations. They've lived for generations in anyway. We'll see. I don't know.
When Jar Jar gets promoted, does she actually promote him, or does she just give him an honorary title and screw him?
Oh, we just lost Max.
Oh, jeez. That means you're on to something, Max. You touched the nerve.
Let's.
You're on to something.
I'm just saying.
She's a racist.
Maybe. Might be an oppressive force on the galaxy.
I don't think
that people. She just.
Well, I'm so glad Jason's not in on this conversation.
What a
He'd rip us to shreds. Okay, let's get back on track for a minute.
Did she even have a problem when Anakin killed all those Tusken Raiders?
She even cared that he's like 10 years younger than her.
All right.
I think her exact words were, "This is why we should build a wall."
Oh God.
Let
me get back on track.
I thought Senator Palpatine was the evil one. Now we know who the evil one is.
Let's get back on track.
The Amidala's were kind of, they were the Trumpers of that era.
Maybe
kind of nasty grifters holding control, like.
Oh dear. Okay, so let's get back on track just for a second. Where I was going with that conversation about the Grogu thing is that I feel like they are going to use Grogu's story. They don't want to tell any backstory because they're still in the middle of telling Grogu's story in another show, and so I doubt we'll get that kind of story at as they are constantly doing the back and forth between when he was taken and from the Jedi Temple and everything like that. On top of it, Grogu was being searched for by Moff Gideon because Moff Gideon was searching for his own way and own reasoning to create a Force-sensitive clone of himself, obviously, which we found out by season 3.
Here's the thing I don't get.
But it was quiet. He didn't want that connected with the Palpatine story, so he was like a side story, trying to do his own thing, trying to build his own cloning facility, and it wasn't Palpatine's cloning facility, is where I was going with that. So anything related to Palpatine definitely could be, would not necessarily involve Grogu, would be more focused on where we're at now, which is following Omega's story. So
here's the thing I don't get about all this genetic cloning stuff. Yeah. How do you know your clone's going to be on your side and follow your aspirations? I mean, the only way it makes sense is the way clones work in Dune, where they're sent on specific missions to do specific things and never fully in charge. But with trying to make a clone of yourself that's better than you, how do you know he won't just be like, your plan sucks, I'm going to do my own thing?
Well, take Snoke. Snoke kind of devoted his direction away from what well, not too much.
I feel like Snoke was barely a person.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they got like 400 of extra ones of him, just sitting in tubes.
Well, I think the biggest thing was because I remember this. I think it was from Dark Empire. I think a lot of the clones that were created were blank slates until they were not downloaded, but the Force and everything was set up. They haven't really gone into canon that I'm aware of too much about how that transfer of who you were is transferred into a new clone. So, I mean, it seems like obviously the cloning facilities on that
I think Star Wars is going to avoid the minutia around that to try to not get confused with Dune. Especially the next part of Dune has a big aspect of cloning and the Tleilaxu, who are major antagonists in Dune Messiah. Their big thing is genetic experimentation. I think Star Wars is probably a step back from that because Dune is getting so popular. They're not going to want to try and do competing plot lines of something as frivolous as genetic experimentation.
Right. Yeah. That'd be interesting. Sorry, Super Clips. I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep the track on everything, and that's cool though. I keep missing the chat notes. You're going to do planning a super chat on Star Wars Theory to hear. Oh, okay. To hear his thoughts. Okay, all right, fair enough. Okay. So anyway, let's moving on. We ended up by getting the where are we at? Other news that dropped this week. But I forgot about that. Dawn of the Jedi. They've announced that Beau Willimon, I guess it is, from who wrote some of the episodes of Andor, is going to be James Mangold's lead writer or co-writer in the new Dawn of the Jedi movie. That is kind of cool. This is what he looks like, apparently.
Like a fatter Matt Damon.
Yeah, I'm guessing they're going to start that sometime soon. I mean, I know that James Mangold is currently working on another film right now and trying to get that shot. So I don't know when that finishes, but I'll be curious. I doubt we'll get any information for a while about this film, but it is to take place 25,000 years in the past.
If it comes out. I mean, let's be real. How many films has Star Wars announced and not made since their last movie?
A lot.
It'll come out.
A lot.
I'm just saying their track record hasn't been great, and they've announced a lot of big stars who's seemingly about to start production, including
we don't know what's going on behind the scenes right now. They don't need to tell us when they've started on anything.
I think a lot of writers are taking the money and running. I think they're getting paid to develop these scripts, and then without any actual intention to film them, and they just I think that they also could be leveraging it to other studios and saying, well, if you want me to do your project, you got to pay me a certain number because I'm about to do Star Wars. Mm-hmm. And if you want me to not do Star Wars right now, you got to pay me this number. And
we do know that things are moving forward. If they've hired a co-writer, then yes, it's moving forward.
It doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything. No, things can change at the same time.
It's not going to be anything until they hire actors and start building sets.
Sure, but at the same time, they've hired a writer who's done some very solid episodes in Andor, and he's had other good, backstory, written stories he's done in the, other shows.
I know it's just hard to put faith in Star Wars movies when it's like we've had writers announced, directors announced. Yeah. It seems we have had almost nearly everything but cast confirmed for a lot of these projects, and then out of nowhere they just get pushed back and then into oblivion to never come out. I mean. When was the last time we even heard about Taika Waititi's Star Wars movie? It's dead, then it's not dead, then he's still making it. Yeah, that he says it's going to be the worst thing ever. You guys are going to love it. It's good. It seems like these movies are just like in the ether of multiversal things that happened in worlds that aren't ours.
Yeah. So in the reference of them announcing stuff, do you think they should announce this kind of stuff after they've already started?
Yes, I think a lot of these people are taking high profile gigs like this so they can get other jobs. I mean, what's better for your career than saying I'm writing the next Star Wars movie?
Right. Exactly.
Even though you don't go to forward, it doesn't.
Even though you're not planning on going forward with it, you want to be able to see in Variety that your name was in the trades being talked about with Star Wars.
Sure. Fair enough.
And I think a lot, like even with stories like Rogue Squadron, it's
money too. Money can be offered to these people, and they'll just go for the money.
For sure. Well,
I think it's a variety of things, though. I think sometimes people pitch movies like Rogue Squadron, which is way more of a Top Gun movie than a Star Wars movie. Sure. And then Star Wars says, "What if we try and make it more Star Wars?" And she says, "But it's about my father." And Star Wars says, "But we asked for a Star Wars movie." It's like I think Star Wars
there definitely should be room for creative differences, and it's like they're still experimenting, and they have been for 10 years with stuff. And I don't know if they'll ever stop experimenting.
You need to make stuff. I mean, what about the Lando TV show? That's been in development for almost close to 10 years now.
Sure. Not quite 10.
I don't remember when Andor came out 7+ years ago.
Andor is not that.
Solo came out 7+ years ago, something like
not
that.
Long. Anyway.
Whatever it was. It show's been in development that long, and we've been in and out of production. It's been dead, not dead. Sure. And now we're getting interviews about it like it's alive and a totally normal thing to announce a show and then to film it 8 years later, something like that.
Yeah.
That's just not, I mean, it's not that Star Wars hasn't been putting out content, but we've yet to see a movie in a while.
Mandalorian confirmed to hit theaters May 2026. May
before being turned into a TV series.
It's what? No, it'll be a movie. They're I'm sure hard at work trying to get stuff.
Well, I actually heard they're turning it into a yogurt brand, and they're going to call it Grogurt.
Grogurt. Oh, shut up.
That would be.
That was the other thing that was announced this week. They kind of announced that at least a release date for May 22nd of 2026. They pushed it back a year, which makes sense. I mean, I would rather see them spend time getting things right, and season 3, we all admit, had some issues going along the way. It'll be nice to see it be brought back to the fold. What that story is going to be, though, now, I don't know. Is it going to be kind of like a standalone movie? Are they going to do this tie-in story arc?
I think it's going to be the finale. I don't think it's going to be a big tie-in to anything. I think this is going to be ending the Mandoverse, and then looking forward to what's next. I think they're going to be trying to exit Pedro Pascal from this role in a grand finale, whether that's his character's death or not.
Yeah.
I did hear the rumor that the full title is actually Grogu Mandalorian and Mace Windu. So we'll see what happens with
that. That's funny. No, this is the thing. That they can write out characters that can do whatever, but in this particular case, they could always just have Brendan Wayne step back in as the Mandalorian, and who's never going to say no to doing a voice role, just recording their voice. I don't think, unless they kill the character permanently, and we've kind of never seen
they
that
might
happen.
Do that. I think they're just
really
the character got so
Put
big.
him down the way of Mace Windu and never return.
Not like Mace Windu. I think they'll give him a better death. I think the character just got so big so fast. It's kind of like where do you go from here? He took out his arch nemesis. It's like you either spend the money to rebuild his whole life around a new thing, or you give the next generation, or you give it to the next thing, which is going to be Grogu. Grogu will probably continue.
Sure.
But Mandalorian will probably be gone. I
mean, no matter what, Grogu's always going to outage Mandalorian. So it's like...
Yeah, I think that's going to be the big idea is that Mandalorian helped rebuild the Mandalorian Empire. Yeah. And Grogu, he helped also rebuild the Jedi Empire by giving Grogu to the Jedi.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be that dual-edged sword of losing Mandalorian, but he built the galaxy. He built out the galaxy much bigger and better around him.
Yeah.
Without even needing to.
Here's the thing I'm trying to figure out, because I think there might be another reason why it got pushed as well. If they do release Ahsoka Season 2, that's going to now get released sometime before the Mandalorian movie, now that that's been pushed to 2026. I'm wondering if that is that moment where they bring in Ahsoka and this and that, and whether they do that massive big movie.
Yeah,
it's hard to say, but they'd have to shoot that. But they would have to shoot that out first. And which is not unheard of in Hollywood, that they would actually shoot out a future story event in that kind of scale first, and then go backwards and do the Ahsoka stuff, which could be a possibility. Hey there, Jacob. How's it going?
I can also see them announcing another mini-series. I think their whole initial plan with that Rangers of the Republic series that never went forward was to build out ideas around Thrawn and the Empire really still having a hold in the galaxy, the remnants of the Empire having a hold in the galaxy post Luke and his story. And I think, they still need to get that accomplished before they do that big culminative moment in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, which is probably going to tie together all these plot lines. I can see them announcing more series around that.
Yeah, well, I mean, if they were smart, they'd still do a Luke Skywalker Academy and focus on Ben Solo as a kid.
You'd think we would have gotten some canon Luke content besides comic books since Disney took over.
I definitely half expect we'll see Luke Skywalker pop up in this Mandalorian movie. So they're going to put all their wad into this film. So, we may even see Han Solo and Luke Skywalker, and Princess Leia as well. It's hard to tell how they'll play that out. But yeah, I mean, if it's just a one-off film, we might see those characters exist and
I don't
spend
think
their
we'll
money
see
the
Han.
same.
I keep thinking we'll see Chewie. I think Chewie's way more likely because you don't need to do anything.
Yeah, but come on, like you saw the de-aging in Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Look, it's still the best to date, and it felt believable enough that if they do, I know you did.
It was the best.
I loved it.
It was good, but it wasn't the best. I don't know if it was the best.
Yeah, but
I don't think it was. I think Michael Douglas was the best to date in Ant-Man. When you see Ant-Man, you're like, oh, it's a young Michael Douglas.
Yeah. Still. All right. I'm excited for May 4th. There's a lot of stuff that is coming out, really cool stuff. Skeleton Crew is still supposed to be at the end of this year, but they've been very quiet on it, so I don't know. I mean, I know there could be reshoots and stuff, but I don't know. I'm not too sure how that's going. Lucasfilm kept very quiet on Skeleton Crew all of a sudden. So I don't know what the final deal is there. Anyway, let's jump on a little bit.
I heard Skeleton Crew on Jude Law kept making the kids drink orange juice until they passed out. So, I heard that they're pushing the show because they just don't want the orange juice controversy to come out.
God, that's funny. Just quickly, so on something separate, Acolyte, let's talk about that for a minute. Empire Magazine did a whole pile of drops of their cover. Unfortunately, Empire Magazine is a British magazine, and it's virtually impossible to find anything that they got. This is the alternate cover. I actually really like this cover, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
And they dropped some images. Again, some of this stuff we've seen just in some of the scenes, but some just, really
I found out that's what's her name, Daphne Keane playing the alien.
This one?
Yes.
Yes. She played X-23. Yes, correct. Yeah. Entertainment Exclusive also had these couple of drops as well. This is This looks and feels like Dathomir right here. See the red planet? Could be.
It does look like Dathomir, but it also doesn't.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We've never seen a live-action Dathomir yet, so we've only seen the exterior. Other stuff, guys, they announced also this week. They dropped so many bits of news. The world premiere of the Outlaw story on May the 9th as well. So there's a lot of stuff dropping on Tuesday. I don't know what that is. That's the computer game, Outlaws.
Okay.
Yeah. But they're going to do a whole story arc based around its thing. Unfortunately, I'm going to be working that day. I won't get the chance to do any reaction to anything, but I'll check it out in the evening. So
I'm looking forward to that game. It's going to be the first real Star Wars game.
Yeah.
When you're not a Jedi in a while, where it's going to be open world. It's going to be because the Fallen Order Cal Kestis games have been slightly open world, but not fully. Yeah. You're still constrained to a tighter Metroidvania style maps, but it's going to be a big improvement on what we've seen in recent Star Wars games.
Yeah, I want to see. Yeah, I'm curious to see what they do with the High Republic stuff, especially in the Acolyte. It's the end of the High Republic, I'm guessing. So I don't know. I haven't read any of the books, so I still don't know too much about Darth Plagueis. Kind of thing.
You don't know the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Shut up. Shut up. I know enough. But I'm saying, I haven't read the detail on the books and stuff like that.
It is on Spotify for free. It's in my read pile.
Okay, fair enough. So let's jump on to the last section, I guess, of the day. Let's talk about this trailer drop that we didn't expect to see this week of Tales of the Empire. This took me by surprise. I mean, I was really expecting to see, Tales of the Jedi Season 2, that we might get a Balon Shin story or something like that. But no, we are getting some, one of the lost characters in the animated stuff of Barriss Offee, getting her backstory for the first time since we saw her at the end of Season 5 of the Clone Wars. And basically, Elijah, to fill you in, Barriss Offee, because I know you didn't follow all of it. Once she was a Jedi, and she betrayed Ahsoka, trying to basically make Ahsoka look like a guilty party, and basically was the cause of Ahsoka leaving the Jedi Order.
She felt really bad about it.
She definitely didn't feel bad about it, but she was really starting to turn kind of dark side. She was eventually found and convicted by the Empire, but she was basically put in prison. And Tarkin was the one who actually had her, had her at the time in prison, as far as I know. We're going to get to see that story play out as to what happened. I've got a theory I'm going to get into a bit later on about her character and how she may or may not, meet her demise. I feel like her story is going to end in this series, though, in this little short series. Other stuff that came along, the second story, and that's going to be 3 episodes. The second one we're going to be getting is one on Morgan Elsbeth. We've seen her
3 episodes each.
They're going to be 3 of each episode, yes, but at different
I
time
thought
periods.
It was just 2 shorts.
No, it's 3.
Oh my god!
It's the same as what we got from Tales of the Jedi. It's going to be 3 short pieces. One from when they were younger, one where they add in the middle, and somewhere towards the end of part of a story.
They said 2 stories in their announcement, and I went, "That's lame. Just 2 episodes."
But over 3 points of their life. And that's why I think with Morgan Elsbeth,
they should have said 2 stories over 6 shorts.
No, but the Morgan Elsbeth story, I think, starts because you see it from the Clone Wars. You see this whole Clone Wars element. You get to see Grievous again.
It's the Grievous, and we never got to see his full look in that last season. We just saw a kind of a glimpse of him.
Yeah, they did it in the flashback, actually, in the Bad Batch. In the opening of the Bad Batch, they did a Revenge of the Sith flashback in animation form. Previously, on the Clone Wars or whatever, and literally you saw the scenes from Revenge of the Sith where Grievous is fighting, and so they made this brand new animatic for like 2 seconds worth of General Grievous, and it's like, yeah, let's see more Grievous, and it looks sweet.
Is it still canon that the Bad Batch is canonically into the racist Padme?
Shut up.
Remember they saw her on the wing and they were like, "Oh, there's our fascist overlord."
That got shut up. That got shut up. So yeah, the episodes will premiere May the 4th in a less than a month's time now. It includes 6 animated shorts. And the stories will focus on Morgan Elsbeth and Barriss Offee. Dave Filoni is creative director and supervising director and executive producer of the show. So I feel like these are going to be closest to Clone Wars. We're going to get, obviously, Bad Batches too, but it's like, it feels like we're going to get some stuff that's going to take place in these great time periods of these characters. Other stuff on Tales of the Empire. Basically, this is the first time we've seen Barriss Offee since
in a decade.
She was in a decade, yeah.
But wasn't she in the last season of Clone Wars?
No, she was not. She was in season 5. Remember, because it was the last time we saw it was when she got killed.
When Ahsoka left.
Yeah, when Ahsoka left. That was the end of season 5.
My god, yeah.
Yeah. So everybody has been. Yeah, but we've been asking for years where she is. Now check this out. This is an image of when we saw her in her prison outfit, but we also saw the illusion in Star Wars Rebels of her master, which is Luminara, also in the same prison outfit. So I don't know if there's something funky there. I'm wondering if she's going to be used to take down Luminara in any part of the story.
I think it's going to be the reverse, and the Luminara is going to try and help her.
Luminara? Luminara was her master. Remember, she ended up by being the dead captured Jedi. She was captured remember when Ezra and Kanan went to go, thought she was alive. They went to go rescue it in season 1 of Rebels. Yeah,
but she's not. Yeah, she's dead, right?
Dead. She was a trap.
That's why I thought she was alive for a second.
No. Her spirit was used as a trap. So Luminara, I'm wondering whether she goes up against Luminara at all, or whether Luminara is just taken out by her own clone troopers and stuff like that. Sorry, Elijah, we're kind of boring you a little bit, but we're giving some kind of history elements, which is kind of fun here with all this. We also get to see the fourth sister from Obi-Wan Kenobi series reprising the role. This poor actress never got, I don't think, a single line in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
I was about to say I've never seen that person in my life.
I'm kind of glad that they at least get the actress back, the voice actress back, to voice that character. The great thing about this show is that they're either using their actors from the animation show to voice some of these characters who were in the animated show, or they're using some of the live action actors to voice their characters. And in some case, both, because you've actually got Admiral Thrawn, because he's not in his white uniform here, he's in his regular Admiral's kind of deep greenish, ugly gray kind of uniform there. So it's kind of cool to see Thrawn in there. He's obviously well interconnected with Morgan Elsbeth's story. There's a couple of things going on in this story that are going to be interesting. Oh, we also get the Grand Inquisitor, voiced by actor Jason Isaacs, who voiced him in the Star Wars Rebels series. So we've got like the smorgasbord of like.
Why didn't Jason Isaacs play him in live action?
I think his facial structure and everything was just too old for the Grand Inquisitor.
The new guy was barely in the show and gave a pretty mediocre performance.
I think he did.
And then shit talked the show.
I think he did the best he could, but at the same time, it was what's his name? Friend, last name. No, I forgot his first name. Anyway, Jason Isaacs, I would love to have seen him portray a live action Inquisitor. I agree. I think a lot of people do agree with that. Rupert Friend, thank you. Yes, that's the one. Rupert, thank you, Anchorman. Rupert Friend. I mean, I thought he did, the best he could with the material. I still would like to have seen a different makeup, job on him, because this is my Grand Inquisitor. This is the guy who he should.
Yeah, he's got to look like Pinhead without the pins.
Yeah, that's it. But I mean, it looks extremely menacing here. I've got a feeling we are going to get a element here of actually, well, I think he's part. This is kind of like jumping back and forth between stories, but this is related to Barriss Offee's story. Jumping back again, this is related to Morgan Elsbeth's story. If you notice here. Also, this is the scene in the courtyard that we see from Mandalorian season 2 from the Jedi when they introduce us to Ahsoka for the first time. The guy on the left there actually is Governor Wing from that series. He's in animation form, so he's also in there too.
Cool.
And then other things. Okay, so jumping back and forth, as I said, it's all over the place right now. We're going to see more of the Night Sisters. So apparently in the books there are several different clans of the Night Sisters. The ones that we see that are part of Ventress's clan were killed off by Count Dooku in the Clone Wars series. But it seems like Morgan Elsbeth's clan is elsewhere. They've got different makeup. They've got the whole look and the stylization. And here she is here. I love these psi weapons. I think they're freaking awesome. I'm not too sure if this is Morgan Elsbeth or whether this is somebody different. But I feel like this is someone different. Do you think it's Elsbeth? Because it's got her symbol on the top of the forehead. It's one of her sisters. Anyway.
I think so. I think it could be a younger version.
Yeah. Anyway, I've basically I just want to I want to know more about these weapons. They're freaking cool weapons. We're going to see her story. I don't know too much about what they're going to do for that. You're excited to see Vader? Yeah, I'm. They made a brand new model for the end of season 7 of the Clone Wars for Vader, which is really cool. If you notice something, though, in the background here in this shot with Barriss Offee, when Vader steps in, you've got both Marok and the Sixth Brother. And the Sixth Brother was taken out by Ahsoka in the season, in the Tales of the Jedi. He was the one that she was fighting at the end of the episode there. In Tales of the Jedi. And of course, Marok, she is taken out by Ahsoka in the show Ahsoka, live action. So it's cool that they're kind of making nod to those. But I also have the feeling that we're going to get this interesting confrontation. People are saying that they want to see Barriss Offee go off against Ahsoka Tano. I think she might end up by going off and be killed by Vader.
Yeah, I think Vader makes more sense.
Because Anakin knows who Barriss Offee is, and Barriss Offee pushed Anakin's buttons quite severely. And by taking away the one thing that might have kept him stable, along with Obi-Wan, the other thing was Ahsoka. And because she was the cause of Ahsoka leaving the Jedi Order, Anakin could have had a very different life. And this is still pretty early on in the Empire, so Vader actually could still be conflicting emotions. And, you know, Obi-Wan several years later, that series, so we kind of got this element of, like, he is definitely a changed person. We might get this thing of, like, if Barriss Offee pisses off Vader or recognizes that Vader is Anakin, he would no doubtably take her out. And I think she might be dead because of Vader. And we never see her in the future of any of the stories at this point. But it makes sense to me, at least.
Yeah, totally.
What do you guys think out there? Anybody have thoughts on who might take down Barriss Offee? Because we feel like there's definitely a conflict coming, but I feel like we're not going to see too many Jedi in this set of stories. It feels like they're going to be just personal stories related to the key characters of Barriss Offee and Morgan Elsbeth. One last thing on Tales of the Jedi there is that, this is the voice cast. Diane Lee, she played Morgan Elsbeth, of course, in Ahsoka. Meredith I can't pronounce her name. She played Barriss Offee's voice in
Salinger,
in the Clone Wars. Rhea I can't pronounce that. Fourth sister. She was the actress who was the fourth sister that obviously never got really any lines in Ahsoka. Ahsoka in Obi-Wan, I think it was. Wing Ti Chao is playing Wing. He was the same actor who played him. Lars Bing Nicholson, of course, is Thrawn. Jason Isaacs is the Grand Inquisitor. And Matt Wood is the voice of Grievous, which, of course, he played Grievous in the animated series as well. And the last thing I'm going to say about Tales of the Empire is it sparked off all these... how many are we going to get? Do we think we're going to get more Tales of the Jedi? Are we going to get more Tales of the Empire? Are we going to get something totally new? I think the next one
is going to be terrible. It's going to be Tales of the Droids because they're going to feel like they have to make it.
No, I think it'll be Tales of the Bounty Hunters. I feel like it's going to be... No, I want to say Tales of the Bounty Hunters.
Bounty Hunters would be good. I think they're going to be compelled to go droids because it's the most obvious.
Yeah.
Really? So Tales of D Squad. I don't know. I don't know. See, right now,
I could see that. That's what I would go for. That's what I was going to say. Is droids before anything else.
Really?
We've already seen bounty hunters. It's like,
but I mean, come on. We haven't seen much of Boba Fett in anything right now. He hasn't been doing anything in the Bad Batch. I feel like they're holding off on using Boba Fett's past stories.
It's Disney now. They got to be nice. They got to be good.
Not necessarily. Bad Batch has been pretty dark when it comes to
their... They're going to do Tales of the... Tales of the Ewoks.
The fans out there have been doing quite the number of all the shows coming out. Tales of the Jedi, Tales of the Empire, Tales of the Bounty Hunter, Tales of the Sith, Tales of the Hidden Path, Tales of the Rebellion, Tales of the New Republic, Tales of the Pod Racers.
I'm excited for Tales of the Pod Racers.
I'd be excited, but that'd be cool. Yeah. Wait, and it keeps going on. Tales of the Millennium Falcon, Tales of the High Republic, Tales of the Ewoks. There's Tales of the Droids. Tales of the Droids.
Sound obvious.
Yeah. For sure. Tales of the Mandalore, Tales of the Cantina, Tales of the Knights of Ren. That'd be kind of cool to see. I'd like to see that. Tales of the Syndicate. Wait, we got even more, guys. We got even more. Tales of the Force. Tales of the Moisture Farmers. Tales of the Wookiees, the Hutts, Separatists, Inquisitors, Old Republic, the Wills. And wait, we got even more. The Resistance, the First Order, the Tale of the Clones, the Tale of Cloud Riders, Tales of X-Wing Fighter. Yeah, they're Tales of Naboo. Tales of the Night Sisters, Tales of the Younglings. Tales of the Diner. Obi-Wan.
I don't see Tales of Cloud City. What's up with that?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'd like to have Tales of Cloud City. You know what?
Tales of Bespin. Isn't that? It's above Bespin, right? Have we ever been on Bespin?
Bespin? Well, no, it's a gaseous planet, I believe. Here's the thing, though. With
it's
all those,
gas.
It's all these. Bespin's all gas. It's some mining gas facility. Like if you jumped off Cloud City, you end up on the planet, but the planet is just all gas.
It's called Cloud City.
That's it, Cloud City, exactly. Here's the thing, though, guys. I mean, if they did this right, if they did, Tales of the Empire does well enough, we could get continual short stories in 3 different time periods of a character's life, and they could keep going for as long as they wanted and give us some really cool, solid stories. I enjoyed Tales of the Jedi Season 1 because we got this insight, most of Ahsoka's story we mostly know. But to see Dooku's story was actually quite fascinating. I was really invested in Dooku's story. I really feel like I'm going to be invested in Barriss Offee's kind of past, and I'm also invested in seeing what Morgan Elsbeth's character is like, as, who she was, because we don't know. She's the least we know of any character. Would you be down to keep watching this?
Merrick might be the least we know of any character.
But I'm saying like who's important, kind of thing, But I'd be down to seeing these type of stories continually in different forms. Whether it doesn't have to be about the Jedi or the Sith, it could be these stories. You think it would work?
I'm surprised they haven't done stuff like Tales of the High Republic. They haven't really pushed that stuff as hard as they could have. So
right.
There's a lot of possibilities there, but I think we're going to get Tales of the something no matter what every May 4th the next few years.
Yeah.
Whether they're good or bad, I think, it comes down to how inspired they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll probably get more of these.
As far as I know, these are directly Dave Filoni's stories. And, is the future of Star Wars in short moments like this, rather than TV shows?
I hope not.
Give it the. I don't know. See, I
think this is just going to be this once a year celebration of Star Wars, where they take something that's a little less well known, like Barriss Offee, and really dive into that.
But they can focus on solid little short stories rather than drag out a season like they did with Mandalorian Season 3, where we get a lot more information.
Yeah, but seasons are where the money's at.
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, if we saw live action shorts like this as well, that lasted 15
that'd be too expensive. They'll never do live action shorts like this.
You don't think so? You don't think so? What makes it more expensive than
animation?
Than animation.
A lot of things.
They gotta make everything physical,
Yeah. But they got to make things physical. But they've got a lot of the backgrounds.
But the cost of people, though, a full crew is a full crew.
Right. But here's the thing.
Even before you get to a lighting package, you get to a camera package, you get to CGI.
You would be more susceptible to watching a 1 hour story over and over again, because these short little stories have got these great little moments, if the intention is put into them, compared to entire half-hour episodes that people might skip through a scene because they find it boring, or they might skip an episode because they don't want to rewatch it because they didn't like it or something like that. You've got a lot more time to invest in a character in a short moment of their life. And it doesn't mean they should be the only stories ever told of those characters. They could have a sequel set of stories in the future, but to give these little moments could be kind of interesting too. I don't know. That's just my thought. I don't know. Anyway, guys, we'll be going for like an hour and 15 minutes. Anything else you'd like to add at all? Again, there was a lot of drops.
Adney's racist.
No, good God, no, she's not.
The kid with the guy who killed a bunch of minorities who happened to be the original home people of Tatooine, and she was cool with it. She was cool with his murder of those minorities.
Wait, Anchorman, where's the Tales of Brent? There you go.
Tales of Grogu.
There you go. Brent and Age of Grogu. There you go. All right, that's that. It caught up. All right, guys. Yeah.
Jason doesn't get a tails off.
Yeah. Jason's not here today. He doesn't get a tails off. Maybe next week he'll get a tails off. Anyway, guys. Anyone in chat? Thanks for kind of lasting through our little chaos of sorts. It's been an interesting week of drop of Star Wars. I'm sure we're going to get quite a bit during this next month or so. I don't think I'll be able to react to anything on Tuesday when they drop this thing on the Outlaws. But I'll definitely check it out. We'll definitely talk about Outlaws next weekend. I think that's going to be interesting. Again, I'm not a gamer, but I think there's a lot of potential in what the story is, and they are going to go through and they're going to tell you a little bit about what the story is of Star Wars Outlaws in this little demonstration video download kind of thing. So anyway, yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be back again soon. All right, catch you later.